What's up everybody, back at it again with another Magnum Quest video, and in this one I'm going to be updating my old video with mistakes to avoid. I think it was about 10 months ago. I got some new ones that can be pretty game changing to your game progression, so let's get it. I always feel a little bad when I do these update videos because it's not technically new content. However, that video is really old. I mean, it is 10 months. I watched it back and just What's up everybody, we're back at it again with another Magnum Quest video, and in this one we're going to be going over my top 5 mistakes to avoid. Yikes. A lot has changed since then. I remember putting the webcam plus tripod stand on like a shoebox. There's really nothing going on in the game right now in terms of events and like new content, which is kind of why I slowed down a bit on the uploads. I feel content creators struggle with this, or at least I do, because do I make these older videos that I update unlisted, or do I just delete them? I'm probably just going to go with unlisted so I can have them stored. I just don't want new players watching these old videos when the information may be wrong due to lack of experience to what I have now, or they just may simply be outdated. Anyways, moving on to this video, the updated top 5 mistakes to avoid. So mistake number 1 is wish cards. When you first start out due to the Great Collectors event, you're going to be doing summons left and right, or if you're whaling out, meaning spending money, or maybe you've just been saving up for quite some time. If you weren't aware, there's actually summon milestones. If you go to your summons and then you look down here, clicking this info button lets you know what you can get. As you can see at 20, 50, 80, you're going to be getting different stuff, and then at 100, you're going to be getting a gold faction card, which is pretty good. Keep in mind, Magic List doesn't affect this. So if you choose Wild, for example, you have a chance at all the Wild heroes, not just those 4 you selected in your Magic List. Then again at 200, and then finally the one I'm going to be talking about, which is 300 summons, and this is going to get you a wish card. It's not easy to come by, and it's very useful. The reason is if we click on it, only Sir and Kados are not included. Remember here it says friendship summons don't count towards this summon milestone. Now why I put this as a mistake not to make is because players seem to get all crazy and immediately click it and use it, and then they're like, oh my god, I gotta get that Aries copy right now no matter what. Well, you're wrong. What you need to do is save this card until you actually need it. If we look at this account, you'll notice I have one right here. I haven't used this and probably had this in my bag for 3 weeks. If we go to my hero pool, the reason is because I'm waiting. Getting Harry to 6 stars would be a massive stat boost, but as you can see here, I need 4 copies and I have none. There's no reason for me to use this wish card right now for 1 Harry copy, because I still will need 3. If we look at Dracula, for example, I still need 3 copies to make him 6 stars. Once again, using this wish card doesn't get me to legendary or 6 stars. I still need 2 more copies. Who knows, maybe all of a sudden I get super lucky with gold dice or summons, or maybe an event comes out and I get 2 copies of Dracula. But I wasted that wish card on 1 copy of Harry when I couldn't do anything with it, and I lost my opportunity for making my Dracula legendary. Just be mindful of this and plan out your wish card uses, because waiting will benefit you more in the long run than simply using for no reason because you're going to still have to wait. So now for mistake number 2, wasting hero food. Okay, so what I mean by this is taking a 1-star hero to 2 stars without having those extra 2 hero copies to immediately take the 3-star. I've seen this so much on Facebook, Discord, I'm sure it's on Reddit too, of players posting lineup help or ascension priority, and they have multiple 2-star heroes just sitting there because they don't have the copies of that said hero to turn into a 3-star. That's a crapload of 1-star hero food wasted right there. Hero food will be harder to obtain than the actual heroes. Looking at this account, for example, for forest heroes, look at all these copies. I have multiple copies of Osishi, multiple of Fair, multiple of Ione, multiple of Amelia. I mean, hero copies won't be your main problem. It's the food needed to ascend them that's going to be your main problem. And when you're wasting hero food, your account progression suffers by a lot. Why I say this is because the stats from 1 to 2, it's barely anything, and it's the same idea as the wish card. What if you do summons and open some gold dice and say, let's use this as an example, instead of focusing on Vieira, I wanted to do Alden. So Alden is what I wanted to focus on originally, but even if I use 2 1-star hero food to make him to 2-star, I'm still missing 1 more Alden copy to make him to 3-star. This stops my progression, and then I have to wait. When I could have made my Vieira 2-star, and then because I had so many copies left over of her, instantly put her to 3 stars. It's just like the wish cards, you need to plan out your ascensions. You don't want to just ascend because you can ascend. It pains me when I see accounts with so many 2-star copies throughout the factions. And now I'm just going to put in 3 side tips. So number 1, try to not upgrade less than favorable heroes. I'll be doing an updated overall tier list soon, but I did do chapter adventure ones for early, mid, and late game, and even my outdated overall tier list gives you an idea of the more popular ones. It hurts me when I see accounts with 4 or 5-star Carlottas before Durla. Durla can be purchased from the trial store. She is the Shadow's main DPSer for Faction Dungeon. You need this hero. Carlotta isn't going to carry you. Seeing Carlotta before Dracula, or 4 or 5-star Monroes before Phi, before Ione, unless you're wailing out, throwing tons of money at this game, you're going to need to be more selective with the heroes you choose to upgrade. Taking a hero such as Carlotta all the way to 4-star or 5-star, that is so much hero food. That's 2 1-stars and 1 or 2 3-stars depending on your Carlotta's ascension level. It's hard to make those back, so please be careful what you're doing and do some research if you're new to the game. Maybe check out some of my content before just ascending because you can. Obviously, summon luck does play a huge role in this because you want to raise your squad levels, and if you don't have the required ascension, you're out of luck, but patience is key in this game, and I'm sure you can find 5 heroes that are top tier to work with rather than needing to use lower tier ones. So number 2 is auto ascending. This is okay when doing duplicate hero copies like this with silvers or 2 copies of gold, but I would advise not to simply hit the auto ascend when dealing with multiple 1-star silver heroes. Meaning when you see this, the game will choose the hero order for the final result. In this example, Barton. Sometimes it makes the right decision, but sometimes I find it's better to do this manually. But I've done this on my main without looking, and then I end up getting more 1-star silver hero copies of a different hero rather than the one the game chose. Moving down to number 3 is don't use initial gold heroes, which I'll explain later as hero food. So for example, say I want to ascend my Alden. Using heroes like Vieira or Julian, instead use the silver to gold heroes like this one. I forgot the hero name, but I think it's Rin or something like that. Or using duplicate heroes like say here for Marielith. Don't use another Marielith. You're going to need that 1-star copy to take from 2-star to 3 stars. Plus later down the road, you're going to need 4 copies of her, so that's 2 1-stars to take from 5-star to 6-star. So in short, don't use those said heroes as food unless it asks for during the ascension process. You're always going to need them because even at 6 stars you can go further to +5, which requires an additional 1-star copy each time. I've seen players do this and it's just a big mistake. I do believe the restoration revert feature seen here can help with this. I'll be honest, I've never used this, but I do believe you can get those copies back if the mistake is made. But there's some gray area here where it's not possible. It doesn't hurt to check this out if you did make a mistake though. And now mistake number 3, don't distribute your squad levels evenly. What I mean by this is you want to have your main DPS carry as the highest possible. If you're using Ares as your main DPS carry, which many do, have Ares your main focus or Gaia until he can be made level 201. If using Wyndon, make him the highest. If using Durla, make her the highest. The reason for this is so that you can progress efficiently. DPS is what's going to be doing the damage, not your tank and not your support. Having all your squad levels equal just hurts you. You can easily do the content with low-leveled supports or tanks for the most part, only worrying about ascending when it's needed to so your main DPS carry can go even higher. Resetting is very cheap, it's only 10 dragon shards, and you're going to be doing this a lot for different faction dungeons or in the Awakened Demons in order to progress at a consistent pace. Meaning if you want to farm Fortress Dungeon, hit that 10 floor limit per day. If your Ares is the top squad level, reset him, and if possible, make Wyndon or Ekra temporarily that spot. Or if you're doing Awakened Demons, survivability may be an issue, so try resetting and bringing up Arthur if possible, so we can actually do something and survive long enough to use his shields and heals. And then mistake number 4 is going to be sacrificing initial gold heroes. What I mean by this is if you're new to the game, you have bronze heroes which are useless. You set this to auto retire like this, so you can just set it and forget it and then they're taken care of. When you summon these, they give you retirement coins for this store, silver heroes which can be ascended to gold, and then you have gold heroes, aka initial gold heroes, where they're not silver upgradable. If you're not sure which heroes are silver, you can go to portraits, then scroll down to gold 3 tier heroes. What this means is all of the following heroes are silver who can be ascended to gold but have a gold 3 ascension max, and with a 200 level. These are the heroes that I've been referring to as hero food, and they also only have 3 skills seen here. Initial gold heroes are the heroes above this or simply the rest. So listen, I know if you're free to play, low spending, etc., you sometimes have to make decisions that require you to make sacrifices. The reason it's more difficult to suggest this now is because of the recently added occupational system. What this system does is divide up the heroes in the game into categories like priest, warrior, guard, etc. And then those heroes will gain bonus stats. So if we click on Priest, as you ascend these heroes in this category, it improves the level, increasing these stats seen here. Currently, the max level for each is for Warrior, it's going to be a level 13. For Guard, it's going to be level 13. For Hunter, it's going to be level 11. For Rogue, it's going to be level 12. For Mage, it's going to be level 13, and then for Priest, it's going to be level 13. This is why it's currently harder for me to suggest sacrificing, but since I know the struggle, and if you don't care and you just want to know potentials so you can progress, because hero food in gacha games is very demanding, just remember heroes can get buffed and reworked, but I will give a few from each faction. So for Fortress, you have Bill. With the introduction of Ilya, I find he is just more valuable than Bill. Plus, honestly, the rest of the Fortress heroes all serve a purpose, so I don't really know any others I can suggest. I suppose maybe the less used ones would be maybe like Auric, due to having such strong backline hero options like Winden and Ekra. Plus, you can always purchase him from the trial shop, but I'd still not advise on this one. For Forest, you have Monroe. There's just not much use for him right now. Better frontliner options, and Forest Dungeon has so much CC support already. One tank like Fair is fine. Plus Alwyn, you can always purchase her from the trial shop, and she falls off very fast in this game. For Shadow, you have plus Gus, mostly used as a DPSer for Puppet Boss Winden or in the Puppet War. He is an alternative, but he also requires a lot of heavy investment. So those would be my 2 options if I had to pick and choose. For Wild, you have Xander. You can always purchase him from the trial shop. Plus Manton, he did get nerfed, or I guess bug fixed at high squad level, meaning 500 plus. So his damage is crap once again. I definitely feel like this hero needs some kind of buff or rework or something like that. But the main thing is patience. I've said this a couple times now, but idle games, it's just all about patience unless you're spending. So if you must and you don't care, choose heroes from these options. I hate seeing players saying they fed their Hista or fed their Amelia. You may not be using those heroes right now, but besides the occupational system stats, you will use them eventually. It may not be all the time, such as maybe when you're doing puppet bosses, for example, but feeding that Hista is going to hurt your damage numbers, or at least the potential. And then finally, mistake number 5 is going to be managing your resources. So what I mean is to just not blindly spend your gold, dragon shards, star map materials, rune materials, all that kind of stuff. Gold in particular, it's really easy to just wipe this clean by going into the general shop and buying up what you see. Starting out, you want to focus on barrel for squad leveling and hunting actions for star map materials and also the sage stone bonuses. Star map materials you're going to want to pick and choose because depending on the quality gets super expensive. Only buy what you're currently working on, and then you also have the gold to expense for that barrel. Especially pre-squad level 300. I did an updated shop guide video. I'll have clickable at the end if interested for what I think you should be focusing on. And then for dragon shards, don't simply just be like popping these off on dragon summons at 3,000 for a 10 times pull. The rates are very low. You're going to need to focus regular summons, which are 1350 for a 10 times pull. And the 2 reasons would be number 1, to build up your hero roster, and then number 2, hero food. Obviously, if you're spending, you're going to have more options. Don't be buying gear for dragon shards from the trial merchant or in the general shop. I'd only ever suggest this if you have an excess amount of shards and you need that 5-star gear piece to complete the set. An example of this would be I've probably wasted refreshing this guild shop around 5k plus dragon shards. I don't know the exact amount, nor do I want to. I'm just trying to find a 5-star ambush gear set weapon. If I saw this in the trial merchant, I don't care the cost for dragon shards, I would buy it. Simply due to the sheer amount I've spent just refreshing this guild shop. For rune materials, it's the same idea. You don't want to be enhancing gold runes as an example if they start off with bad stat or stats or they're just not what you're looking for. Example, if you get a red attack rune, it's meant for damage, so the stats should be for damage. So don't be wasting your enhancement materials if it starts off with minus damage taken. If you may want to see what the next stat brings, since you won't lose enhancement material cost when you decompose at this level, You can try for it. Say you enhance it and it gets dodged, then definitely don't use this anymore and scrap it, because the further enhancing, you lose enhancement cost when decomposing. I also made an updated video regarding runes if you're interested, which I further explain this, and it will be clickable as well at the end of this video. So just be careful with what you use resources on and spending them correctly and efficiently. Otherwise, you're going to be having a very sad and bad time regarding progression, even worse than what you may have encountered if you did this correctly. I may have missed some important ones, so if you feel there's any others you consider deserve a mention, leave a comment down below. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm and also the Magnum Quest community when players check this section out for added help. As always, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for future videos, and stay tuned for the next one.